A stunning turn of events. A chairman of the House Intelligence Committee claiming he has new information about surveillance of the Trump transition team and telling President Trump before informing his Democratic colleagues. Joining me now, one of those Democrats, Congressman Eric Swalwell. Good to have you, Congressman. Thank you so much for coming back on. First, I'd like to get your reaction to the reporting that we have from Pamela Brown and Shimon Prokupecz. The report tonight that the FBI has information indicating associates of the president communicated with suspected Russian operatives, and it may have been to coordinate the release of information to damage Hillary Clinton. What do you make of this news?
Don, these are the individuals who we have continued to connect the dots on, who have had deep personal, political, and financial ties to Russia, particularly at a time when Russia was interfering with our elections. We laid this out at our hearing on Monday, which, Don, it feels like that was a month ago now, considering all that has happened in between. But all we ask is that the FBI follow the evidence, pursue all leads, and if U.S. persons worked with Russia, hold them accountable.
You are on the House Intelligence Committee. I want to play your colleague, Chairman Devin Nunes, said today.
I recently confirmed that on numerous occasions, the intelligence community incidentally collected information about U.S. citizens involved in the Trump transition. Details about U.S. persons associated with the incoming administration, details with little or no apparent foreign intelligence value, were widely disseminated in intelligence community reporting. Third, I have confirmed that additional names of Trump transition team members were unmasked. And fourth and finally, I want to be clear, none of this surveillance was related to Russia or the investigation of Russian activities or of the Trump team.
You said that the president's communications were incidentally collected, but then you said it's also possible. So was it collected or is it possible?
I just don't know the answer to that yet.
So you don't know if the president's communications.
I know there was incidental collection regarding the president-elect and his team. I don't know if it was actually physically a phone call.
So what do you think of that?
He's conflicted himself out, and it's disappointing, Don, because I've always liked that the Intelligence Committee is one where we're collaborative and we're independent. And today the chairman betrayed the independence and collaboration that the American people are counting on us to show at such a trying time in our country. He should have told members of the committee first. He should not have told the president, who is, with his campaign, subject to an FBI criminal investigation for what happened with Russia. And this is the reason we need an independent commission to get to the bottom of what happened and how we can get out of this mess and promise Americans we'll never let it happen again.
Yeah, there are a number of false narratives going around, and if you read the information, and also read the transcript of what he says, none of that really explains the president's tweets or the allegations, or none of it says that U.S. citizens were surveilled or a member of the Trump team. This is collateral information believed to be collected because a foreign agent was being surveilled. We've now been given two different versions of the story. Chairman Nunes says that President Trump may have been surveilled. Congressman Adam Schiff, says that most names were masked. And then Armando Raja reports the content of this was gossip among the transition team. So what is the real story here?
The real story is that President Trump was not wiretapped by President Obama, and President Trump was not surveilled by President Obama. This was a stunt. This was a distraction in the middle of a week where Americans are starting to realize that there are serious questions around the president's team and what happened with Russian interference. And now we're at a point where our investigation is on life support, and the only way to really get to the bottom of this is for an independent commission, because look what's happened. Our Attorney General, it was exposed that he lied during his confirmation hearing twice when asked about prior contacts with Russia. He was supposed to have impartiality as far as a criminal investigation. He's had to recuse himself. And now the chairman, who we have worked with so far collaboratively on this, he too has rushed over to the White House acting as Donald Trump's lawyer and has jeopardized the independence of our committee.
Has he explained to you why he didn't come to you first?
No, he really should have, Don. And it's really out of character for him, because we passed a cybersecurity bill together under his leadership. We passed an intelligence authorization bill under his leadership. Those were his best days. Today, so far, I think has been his worst day. So let's not judge someone by their best day or their worst day. Let's see what he does tomorrow when we convene at a 9 a.m. hearing. Does he tell us the evidence he has? Does he apologize for what he's done? And can he show us that he can lead us in an independent, collaborative way.
Okay, and you said that he has compromised himself out of this. You don't believe he should be part of this investigation anymore?
At this point, unless he convinces us otherwise tomorrow, it's a conflict of interest to go over to the White House, where the president, we learned this week, and his team are subject of a criminal investigation.
Yeah, the subject of the investigation, which is why I think Democrats and Republicans are wondering why he would do that, because it made him, it looked like a partisan effort, a political effort. But can we move on to talk about health care, Congressman? Because we're hearing that there is a possible deal in the works now with the Freedom Caucus, and that the likelihood of the bill getting passed is at least in a more positive category now. What do you think?
I think so far everything we've seen, this bill is bad, and it's going to make people sicker and poorer. And Donald Trump has threatened that people will pay a political price. And right now I'm just worried about the price people pay at the doctor's office. So there's ways to improve the Affordable Care Act. He hasn't come to Democrats yet. He promised that he'd be this great negotiator, businessman, and we're still waiting. So tomorrow I hope it fails and that we have an opportunity to improve this.
You hope it fails, but do you think it'll pass? Do you think that that Republican members, the GOP members, will come home and say, okay, we've got to pass this bill?
No, I don't think it'll pass.
You don't. Thank you, Congressman Eric Swalwell. Always appreciate your time.
My pleasure, Tom.
When we come right back, what we know and don't know about Paul Manafort and Russia.